we're going to keep betting because that's what we're told to do. That's what we're paid to do. And that's what we love to do. Let's talk Monday Night Football. We're on the same page. And I know you've got props for the Niners and the Colts. I separated them into 2 different categories and 2 different full screens. These are your 49er props, to which we are very aligned on. I love this Purdy over passing yards as well. Why are you going with it?
It's probably outside of like attacking the Commanders, the best spot on paper for passing games. We kind of saw that play out on Saturday, and we're going to probably see it pan out tonight. Look, the Colts did everything that they could to beef up their secondary, which was already bad. If you remember, like back in the first month, 2 of the season, the Colts offense was just really good. And there was a part of me every week that my partner and I, Josh, would talk on our show about, are the Colts just a really, really good offense and they're forcing teams to pass on them? Or maybe do they just have really bad secondary problems? And they addressed that. They got Sauce Gardner. Charvarius Ward got healthy. It looked good for a brief stint, and then now they're not playing. Both of them are out. Both of them are on IR. And this is likely going to be the way that their season ends, because with the Colts loss, that eliminates them entirely here. I just don't see a world where like you have a motivated 49ers team. You have an Indianapolis defense that, again, is without Sauce Gardner and Charvarius Ward, and they're allowing the second most passing yards to quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks. We'll talk about more on top of this because it just could not be better for this 49ers passing game.
I love it. The Colts have definitely been struggling with their secondary, ton of injuries. Purdy, I expect 300 plus, which is why I'm pretty shocked this number is 247.5. Purdy's numbers on the road against bottom 10 pass Ds last year, he had 290 plus in all 3. So I'm going to talk more about it in Prop Queen Edges. I love it. My question with the 49ers, I didn't know who the hell he's going to throw to. My question was longest reception props. It's going to hit tonight. Someone's going to catch a deep ball. There might even be 2. The Kittle trends are there. He's great in prime time. He's got the rapport with Purdy. Jennings has more of a rapport with Purdy, but the longest receptions haven't really been there for him, especially on the road. Then there's Kendrick Bourne, who was great with Mac Jones under center, not so much Purdy. How did you come to deciding it's going to be Juwan Jennings?
Yeah, so for me, so by the way, the Kendrick Bourne thing is totally like this second team practice squad stuff. Like they clearly have a connection there. So it's unfortunate that Brock is not the same way, but I came to the Jennings conclusion, not only like the easy like check boxes that Ricky Pearsall is out for this one, but the second, and as you go further down the line, we are starting to now see Juwan Jennings be the player that he was last year. And it's because Brock Purdy's playing quarterback. He's got a 24% team leading target share with Purdy at quarterback, which is now a good enough sample size to really buy into. And so with that said, I lined up the previous, if you want to, I would say that 24% target share is a clear wide receiver 1 situation for any team in the NFL.
So and wide receiver ones have done great against the Colts in the last 5 weeks. Nico Collins, Jackson Smith-Njigba. You look at all of them; they've all done very well.
Yep, Rashee Rice went over 140 yards too. So like, yeah, those are a lot of names, and Juwan Jennings is definitely like at the bottom of that list in terms of talent. But I do think that with that said, I think this is a 24% target share means more than 50 yards in the spot. And that line is like around 55.5. The stuff on props.cash, wherever you look, box score wise, not going to look good. It's going to be a lot of red. But with that said, I think you can buy into that. And I love his ceiling tonight. I do think that he's got a good 80 plus in him.
You like the receiving yards for Jennings over the longest reception?
I think so, just because I haven't seen it. And I'd like to see it.
I might tell this as a prize picks lineup because, again, I was trying to figure out how to play the receivers. I also wanted to play Kittle because Kittle has been absolute money in prime time, especially on the road with Brock Purdy under center. Those 2 just connect. The Colts have struggled against tight ends as well. That is the category that has gone over their longest reception, the position that's gone over their longest reception the most against Indianapolis. I assume that's why you like Kittle. Props.cash, by the way. Shout out.
Yep, absolutely. Love Kittle. 24 plus yard receptions in 4 straight games. dating back to primetime stuff has just been nails in general. And Indy's allowed 8th most receiving yards to the position this season. I think this does also just help that like not having Ward and Sauce out there definitely just like leaves everything open, even in the middle of the field. So you always have to pay attention to McCaffrey. There's not much talk on him today because
Colts are better against the run anyway.
They've been really good against the run, and they also get to force Buckner back, which I do think that that makes a lot of sense. So if you're taking McCaffrey out from a running standpoint, I think he can still do well in the passing game, but this is more of a well-rounded situation for the two main pass catchers that aren't named CMC. And it's not like Purdy can really throw elsewhere. Like he just isn't giving Demarcus Robinson or Kendrick Bourne any love. That might change tonight, but I think it's very clear that things are going to go to Kittle and Jennings.
I know in the chat that Mark, who is a big 49ers fan, by the way, Mark keeps talking about how Kittle scored his first touchdown against the Colts. How much do you care about that?
A little. I think there's probably some good memories for him, right? I think that's a nice cherry on top always whenever all the data aligns in the first place.
This is the team ahead question marks. Obviously, we don't have a huge sample size. It's one game with 44-year-old Phillip Rivers under center for the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor is a name that I have loved all season home road splits-wise. I have faded him on the road. I have hit his overs at home. It is the only place you could bet overs on Jonathan Taylor is in Indy. However, I get nervous because the 49ers do have a better run D. The 49ers know we've got to go to Jonathan Taylor because that's their main weapon. Phillip Rivers, old man, make him throw. How come you're not scared of the 49ers run D with Jonathan Taylor?
I'm putting a disclaimer on this saying the only reason I even have this up here is because I want to have a conversation. And let's just make a caveat and say, let's say the Colts win. That's the only way that they can win is if Jonathan Taylor goes bananas and he rushes the ball 30 plus times. They have to give him 25 touches in general in order to even make this thing competitive, in my opinion, because I don't see many pathways. And
I was looking at the last 5 games. Running backs have not been getting carries against the San Francisco 49ers.
No, I know, but let's also just bring up like the list of teams that they've played against recently. It's not good. And maybe give it to San Francisco's credit. They have been really
Cleveland,
really good.
Arizona, Giants, Houston, Tampa Bay. Those are the ones, by the way, guys.
Yeah. So you can make the case that is definitely valid. I think I'm not on this. I'm on 49ers minus 4.5. But I think like if you're going to paint a picture about Indianapolis staying in this game and having an outside shot, it is because Taylor kind of breaks the mold, and he is better than all the running backs that have faced San Francisco recently. So There's something to say about that. Since Fred Warner went down, they've been the worst team in terms of yards before contact. That's just something you got to believe in if you're an Indianapolis fan, but it's not going to be pretty.
Then would you pivot to Jonathan Taylor over his longest rush? What are the numbers backing that?
They're not good recently, I'll tell you that. But home has been relatively consistent since 2024 in terms of the over stuff. And that's a lot of it was just from an awesome year last year. This year, a little less, but he has not had an explosive run since Atlanta. And that was a game that was overseas. So it's kind of
I just have to put a prize picks lineup together and I need at least one play from the other team.
Yeah, that's brutal, right? I will give you one that's not in here. So there was one thing that actually made sense on the Indianapolis Colts side. It doesn't look good on props.cash, but it only makes sense because of the way that San Francisco plays. So historically speaking, in this system with Robert Saleh specifically, they tend to be really, really good in man coverage on the outside, which will take away Alec Pierce. And I know that, they can still find a way to give him a longest reception, but historically speaking, they tend to take out wideouts on either side. So that takes out Michael Pittman Jr., that takes out Alec Pierce. And the way that you beat San Francisco outside of running on them right now is to throw to the slot receiver, and that would be Josh Downs. And that would make sense for me in terms of over receiving yards for that spot. I'm not going to be interested in the longest reception for Josh Downs because I think this is more of like a Phillip Rivers actually might have time to throw. I don't know if you saw this, but
23.5 is Josh Downs' line at BetMGM.
Yeah, I know. It's gross. And he had 14 last week, so it's not going to look good. It's not going to feel good. But this is like the clear pathway to how you move the ball against San Francisco if you're not running. So Josh Downs receiving yards would be the thing. You factor in that old man Phillip can't throw the ball that far. It's a clear slot receiver type of situation for me. Seattle much better against the slot receiver. So I'll go. I didn't include this, but I do like Josh Downs if you have to pick one Colts player.
Phillip Rivers, you're going under his passing yards, though. Yeah. 160.5, obviously a very low number. I'll tell you a little bit of data I've got on the completions, though, and why I might like it. It scares me, but Phillip Rivers under, how come he's not going to throw for 161?
Anything Rivers is scary, especially when you've watched Phillip Rivers, right? And so there's a lot of these kids that don't even know what he looks like from the Chargers days. They only know him from the Colts days, and those weren't good either. So I don't, again, it's not going to feel good. Nothing's going to feel good, especially when you're betting like under like 180 yards for anything quarterback wise. So for me specifically, I don't mind the completion stuff. Actually, I think that's relatively solid. I want to just say that the stat that stood out to me in the 1 week, and again, it's a 1 week sample, but in the 1 week that Rivers played in, he was NFL low, number 32 in yards per attempt last week. Want to guess what that number was?
What?
Yards per attempt.
Oh, God, I don't want to know. What is it?
It's 4.4 yards on average per throw.
No.
That's what he was doing last week. That tells me that even if he throws the ball 30 times, completions could be there. He's not getting 160 yards on through the air.